Hello everybody and welcome to another Stellaris video. Today I wanted to show you guys one of the stronger builds that uses robots, and essentially what this build aims to do is it aims to modularity rush and use the very broken new Civic lubrication tanks. Well, it's not new, it's changed. And basically what this Civic does is it allows you to get very high pop assembly on planets that are well developed, because city districts and as well as having an industrial district on a planet will dramatically increase the efficiency of your pop assembly, and also traits that affect your pop efficiency will now also affect the speed at which you can get assembly using lubrication tanks. So with that in mind, we're going to be playing with parliamentary system and fanatic egalitarian as well as materialist in order to rush unity as fast as possible. We are machine, conversationalist AI, high bandwidth, mass produce, and with trading algorithms and durable. As you can see, we have a very large focus on trade here, as we're going to be using that as one of our main sources of unity in the early game and throughout the game to produce consumer goods, as we're going to be running a civilian-based economy throughout the game for initially unity and then eventually into tech. So when you're playing this build, basically all you need to do is find one planet, mostly so that you can get an efficient mineral planet, potentially two, and that's really all you need, as the rest of your planets can come from your ring segments, and you then need to, of course, rush unity as fast as possible. In order to rush unity as fast as possible, we are going to focus in on trade at the beginning by opening mercantile, and of course doing our usual startup of isolationist for 10% monthly unity, and civilian economy because we are going to be not employing too many metallurgists. Also, once you see a trade focus leader, I would recommend you pick that up after you take the mercantile tradition tree. And in addition to this, we are of course going to take advantage of utopian abundance, as do most very strong builds in the early game. They almost all use utopian these days, so we're gonna do the same, and we're simply gonna remove all the pops on our planet that are not lubrication tanks, artisans, and you can even unemploy the leaders. I've seen people do that. I'm not going to do that personally, as I do want some extra amenities on my planet, and we also make sure we'll prioritize civilians so that our extra pops do become civilians and increase the happiness on our planet, so we don't get some really bad negative modifiers. In addition, we want to increase our faction approval, right? So we just want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to make sure our faction approval is as high as possible, such as turning off balanced vassals and going to benevolent. That will make our egalitarian faction happier, giving us slightly more unity even on top of that. And there we go. This is about the optimum amount of unity we can have, and we can also just promote our preferred faction, which is our egalitarian faction. So we'll go ahead and promote that, and we'll get started. Now, it looks like our spawn isn't too lucky, but hopefully we can find just one planet to colonize, as that will help our empire a lot. Also, in addition to that, you do want to immediately start building an autochthon monument, and also disable and or demolish the extra buildings that aren't the robot assembly plant and these two, as we really don't need them. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, we are going to open mercantile, which will hopefully eventually which will definitely actually allow our civilians to eventually produce much more trade, and we of course can then use that trade to convert into energy credits and every other resource we might need. For now, of course, let's just buy some minerals so that we can keep our mineral income going, and also some energy credits, as we do need more energy credits right now. And once we take trickle up economics, this will be a very nice boost to our economy, as it gives a +1 trade per 100 civilians. And as you can see, our trade jumped from 77 or so to 136, giving us a healthy positive on energy credits, and also it'll let us buy things like alloys, which we are currently not positive on. And of course, our trade is only going to get better as we put more points into mercantile. I think the next thing we want to take is adaptive economic policies. So I think in 1 month we'll be able to do that. Let's go ahead and take that. And now we have adaptive economic policies. Basically, you want to go into your policies and edicts, and you can now select the marketplace of ideas for trade policy, which will convert some of your trade into unity instead of energy credits. And we will expect our trade value to go up, our unity to go up, and our energy credits to go down as the month passes by. There we go. And now what all we need to do is simply buy enough energy credits to keep our economy afloat. And that is basically what we're going to be doing. We're also going to hire this trade focus leader to give us an additional amount of trade and just try to keep this very, very bad economy afloat. And the next thing we're going to do is start building city districts to increase our assembly speed. Right now, with lubrication tanks, we have 9 assembly speed, and we'll see this gradually go up throughout the game, and then very suddenly, once we unlock modularity traits, which will be very, very strong. You also have 2 options here. You can either pick the slightly slower Unity Rush and expand the council first, or you can go with the faster one with Evolving Society, which is probably what we're going to do, as our Unity income is really good, as you can see. And we're also producing 105 extra trade now. So what we're going to do with that is we're going to buy some consumer goods in order to keep that positive. And also, if we want to, we can probably just enable a few technician jobs so we don't have to spend so much energy. We don't have to spend so much trade to keep buying energy, as these technicians are relatively efficient. Just 150 of them making 16 energy credits is fine, and we're making a lot of unity anyway. With our factions are already making 140 unity. I've heard that this unity income is not even broken in the sense that it's intentional, so I'm not sure if it'll be tuned down, which I think it probably should be. But it's here to stay for now, so I'm going to continue to use it. Another thing that I haven't quite determined on this build yet is whether it's actually worth colonizing your first 2 planets right away, as it does drag pops away from your capital, and your assembly will not be as good with lubrication tanks on a new colony. But let's go ahead and take them, as I think most people are probably used to playing like that and taking your colonies as soon as possible, so we're just going to try and do the same. And I want to take prosperity now and standard construction templates, as that will let me build city districts for cheap. And basically, we're going to continuously want to build city districts on our capital to increase the trade efficiency, as I mentioned before. Your robot assembly efficiency goes up as your city gets more built up, as your city districts get more built up, and if you have at least 1 industry. Which is why I don't like the lubrication tanks tooltip, by the way, because it doesn't say any of this. So another thing I'd like to do is I'd like to thank Anger and Sakuya from the Montu Discord server for helping me understand how this build works and why it's very strong. And also, I would like to clarify, some people have been accusing Montu of stealing my builds, where in fact all these builds simply come from very smart players inside the Montu Discord. Some of the builds are taken from things I've seen other players do, and most of the builds are just like stolen from a mix of observing discussions and simply coming to your own conclusions, or just copying the strong builds that people actually play. One thing I love to do is just join a multiplayer lobby. There's tons of good discords for multiplayer lobbies in Stellaris. Montu server is one of them. There's the Weekend Stellaris Club. And simply what you do is you join the lobbies, and all you remember to do is take saves like every 5 and 10 years, and then you can host the save game and actually play as the strong empires to see what they're doing. And if you remember to take saves frequently, you can piece together their builds basically exactly. And even if you don't copy the exact same build order, like you prefer something else, that's fine. You get a good idea at what other good players are aiming for, which is a really eye-opening and useful thing, I would say, for most players to learn from. And yeah, it's the main way that I personally got good at PvP, for example. I was never very good at PvP when I started playing Stellaris, like just 2 years ago. And most of my improvement just simply came through joining these servers and seeing what other people were doing. Specifically, it was Pax at the time. He doesn't play very many multiplayer lobbies anymore, but a lot of very good Stellaris players are probably aware of who Pax is. He's one of the very strongest PvP players in the game. And for example, I learned to play Stellaris by taking many saves where he was playing and simply copying his builds exactly. Um, and that was how I learned Stellaris, and it worked really well for me, right? Like, I got a lot better, and I was able to compete in many Montu tournaments and even finish on the podium spots in multiple tournaments already. So, um, yeah, simply learning from the best is one of the best ways to learn. And even though I'm not the best player currently or ever, right, I do think I do offer some knowledge that maybe the more casual Stellaris players would not know. And I do my best to convey what I believe to be the best, and at least on a baseline, relatively strong build. So I'm never going to come out here and claim a build is strong when it clearly isn't. For clickbait, it might come with caveats like this is a strong build for bio, or for when clones are banned, or when psionic is not allowed, right? Because this build, I would say, is in the category of it's not good compared to psionic, which can produce alloys slightly earlier than this build, and in addition, it has a much easier economy to maintain. As in order to produce tech, we're going to be using civilian economy, right? Which will use the civil education trait. Right now, we're making a very minimum amount of tech because we're rushing Unity to finish modularity as fast as possible. But once we finish modularity, um, we need to start producing tech to catch up with other empires who have been tech rushing, right? And how do we do that? Is we're going to use civil education, which of course has a very, very high upkeep cost. So there's also difficulties there, right? So this build is not like as trivial to play, I would say, as the psionic build I showed. That is definitely the most powerful build in Stellaris that I've ever seen in terms of how easy it is to play. With the one caveat of rolling Whispers of the Void. I kind of wanted to redo that video because I did mess it up a little bit in the sense that I have the wrong ethics at the start, which means a lot of the viewers, I feel like, are rolling into the wrong covenant. But I'm also planning on making a short on what to do if you roll the wrong covenant with psionics, or something like that. So um, you can fix it. It just takes a little bit of time, and you won't be able to get it as early. But if you're playing in single player or against your friends or something, you'll still have more than enough time to do it. It could be a little bit late for a year 30 PvP, and civil education also still gives such incredible tech that I don't think it's a big concern for a lot of players. Anyhow, as our build continues, we're simply going to deprioritize any jobs that pop on our capital due to us building city districts. If anyone knows how to stop this from happening, which is like the spamming of new jobs every time you build a new city district, please let me know, as it's one of the more annoying parts of playing this build. So yeah, there's that, and then yeah, we're just trying to remember to colonize the planet segments. Let's take a look. I forgot to check how good this planet is when there was a ship in orbit or in space. I don't know if a military ship works, but let's just try. Let's send a military ship into orbit of this planet. This is weird. Like, even though this planet is surveyed, I can't view the districts. I think that should be a bug. But given it has obsidian lakes, it must have good minerals, right? So I'm assuming this is going to be my mineral planet. Oh, and look at that, 2,000 unity from clicking one button. That is a really, really nice thing. And as you can see, we're rushing out this tradition tree very, very quickly. Also, if anyone knows other ways to squeeze out a little bit more unity in the early game, please let me know. When I was stalking Anger's version of this build on a Relic World start, he had 390 unity about 2 years before this. So I'm not really sure how he does it, but sometimes when some of the top players in the game, I really can't emulate what they do. Somehow they're just more efficient, so I just let it be, and do my best where I can, right? Which is exactly what I'm showing you guys. Anyhow, as you can see, we're almost 400 unity, 150 tech, which is a pretty nice baseline. We're prioritizing, of course, our lubrication tank jobs and civilians, 4.2k of them, and they're helping us produce a chunky amount of unity and a good amount of consumer goods to go with that. Or not producing the consumer goods with artisan jobs, right? But yeah, also we're managing to keep up continuously building city districts on the planet. This is very important. As you can see, our pop assembly started at 8.5, and now it's 10.5. So yeah, that's great. And when that gets multiplied by all the efficiency bonuses you get later on, it can be really broken. And yeah, as I expected with Obsidian Lakes, there's 10 mining districts on this planet. So this will likely be our mining planet. Um, and then the rest can be covered by our ring segments. One of them will be an energy planet and a food planet, and then the other one will be with a small food specialty or food on the side, basically. One will be consumer goods and tech. The other one will be probably just alloys, something like that. And the reason we can have just like half a tech world is our tech is going to just come from us piling up civilians. And of course, we're going to be able to pile up a lot of civilians with a lot of uh, assembly, right? So, also, as you've noticed, I've taken no traits that benefit Unity directly. Is I simply don't think when you produce this much Unity, one vision is particularly good in the late game. It's very good in the early game, but it really falls off as it really does only just give you like 10 Unity, 10% Unity, and a little bit of governing ethics attraction, right? So because it really falls off in the late game, I personally think it's more worth it to take something that scales really well, like Imperial Prerogative, allowing you to go wider later on if that's what you need. Um, and Mastery of Nature is very helpful for the early and mid game to clear blockers on our ring segments, and in addition, just make our planets a little taller because we will be really, really lacking in space to house our pops if we decide to play this game like past the 40s and 50s, 2040s and 50s, as the pop assembly on this build gets really, really incredibly high after a while. And also, let's take a look at assembly on this planet. See, this is why I don't think it's a fantastic idea to colonize all available planet segments right away, as simply the 1.6 assembly or something we're getting here is going to be barely worth the cost that we pay in migration out, and in addition to that, like the upkeep of having more roboticist jobs and that kind of thing. I haven't determined whether it's worth it or not, but I know a lot of people do like to colonize right away, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that as well. I know on like Clone Army, for example, it is completely not worth it. But on this build, I think it's alright. And we're going to go ahead and take this system as soon as we scan it, because that is an amazing system. So yeah, let's go ahead and take that. And also, let's just remember to go to our home planet and just deprioritize all the jobs here that pop up that we don't need in the end of the game at the end. So yeah, also we can start to work our way towards finishing statecraft, and we can also go ahead and launch Evolving Society. As our empire size is below 100, you can skip agendas for very cheap after they get to about 2/3 finished. So it's usually a good idea to launch them early. And you can also take on education campaign when you do that for a little bit of an extra bonus. We'll let this get down to like, I don't know, 7 or 800 Unity before we pass that agenda, as that's generally a pretty good idea. And let's take this system as it has great mining stations. And yeah, it doesn't look like there's too many AIs near us, so we can kind of calmly expand in this area, taking this planet and these two, and that will give us more than enough space to really, really scale up like crazy in the mid game after our modularity ascension. And yeah, once we get our modular ascension, I'm going to show you guys some tricks you can do with robot pops that Sakuya taught me how to do to maximize the efficiency. Basically, you're able to create 2 templates, one with all assembly traits and one with all efficiency traits, and get the benefits of both. It's something that has been a very powerful thing that you could do with synthetics before, but it's much harder now, or requires much more specific knowledge, because as you can tell, you can't really select what to assemble the way you used to be able to. It's just this screen no matter what, and the game decides what it's going to assemble for you, which means you have to be a lot more clever with your templates and manipulating the AI to assemble the exact templates that you want. So I guess that's a little bit more involved, or it could be a little bit easier because you don't have to manage that. It depends on how you feel about that, I guess. Anyhow, let's go ahead and build those up. Let's remember to build city districts. I probably forgot for a little bit, as I built up quite a bit of minerals, which means I know I haven't been building that. And then on this planet here, let's see if we have all the buildings we need. Once you have built a lubrication tank and a roboticist plant, it's just an autocathon monument, and then you prioritize civilians, and then you kind of just let it be, right? Because civilians is kind of the end goal. Um, and later on, we can turn on immigration and migrate them over to our capital. But for now, we can just let them sit there. It's not a big deal at all. And as you can see, you need to buy a really ridiculous amount of energy at some point, which is why I recommended enabling some technician jobs. Let's enable a little bit more now and let the civilians fill those up, as otherwise we're going to have some trouble maintaining our energy credits. And let's also probably limit our artisans. We don't want too many. We also don't want too many metallurgists. We just want to like maintain a steady positive supply, enough to colonize some star bases and stuff like that. And we do need to rush over here. But yeah, we also don't want to burn too many minerals. But keeping a nice basic positive economy is also nice, as it's a little bit less stressful to manage than a like near zero resource economy where you just keep everything just above going bankrupt, which is the most efficient way to play in some cases, but not very fun. So let's not do that. Let's also just go ahead and keep surveying around. We don't really need to make first contact with anyone. It's not an important part of this build to form a federation, which is nice. You can form a federation for additional unity, but honestly, I prefer the more consumer goods you get from not being in a trade fed, as you don't need unity later on. You're going to be getting so much unity from civilians that I personally don't think you really need civilians later on. Anyhow, yeah, let's continue to build city districts, kind of same old stuff. As you can see, our unity goes down when we colonize new planets as well, because we get 300 new jobs in lubrication terminal specialists who don't produce any unity at all. So there's that. And also trade is a resource. So civilians on this planet will produce less trade per pop than a civilian on our homeworld, for example, which is just a bit of a sad moment, I guess. Unlucky. Get geothermal fracking, I guess. Let's just take that. The only techs you should be focusing for the engineering tree is any tech that works towards machine templates. Powered exoskeletons is probably the most important one to take if you see it. Other than that, in your society tree, try not to unlock too many new techs. This makes it more likely you will roll colonial centralization. Do keep in mind, right, we're rolling with a really low amount of tech. Basically 100% of our tech is actually coming from unemployment right now, right? So we don't have too much spare tech. You could have problems rolling colonial centralization. In a lot of the builds these days, the tech levels are so high that you can basically click on anything and you'll get to colonial centralization eventually. I would recommend avoiding clicking anything with a light blue lock icon, as this will branch out your tech tree. Which is why I'm taking something like bioreactor now, because bioreactor will not branch out that tech tree and decrease my chance for colonial centralization. So there's some small efficiencies to be had in that department. So also, we completely forgot to launch Evolving Society early because I was caught yapping, but let's go ahead and do that now. Energy Mogul, or Artisan Jobs. These are both great effects, but we'll take the extra consumer goods, and then also remember to turn education off when you're done, as that can be very expensive if you leave it on. And we can also just start to expand the council now. And as you can see, we also now have enough unity to start our synthetic age situation. I think it's most valuable to just put this on overclocked, plus 20% situation speed in exchange for 20% of your unity is an okay deal. It's obviously not what you would prefer, but the situation going faster is a little bit more important than your unity. And after this, basically just make sure you don't select any new tradition free picks until you're done this situation, or you'll slow down your modularity ascension. And yes, starting your modularity at ascension at year 9 is apparently also normal now. Do keep in mind, I'm playing on 0.75 tech in Unity. The reason I do this is 95% of high-level multiplayer games use the settings 0.75 tech and 0.75 Unity, and they usually also turn certain behaviors off, right? They turn on difficulty adjusted tech off, as that makes it very, very slow to do technology. I'm using the same settings as, well, I want you guys to be able to replicate these builds in the average multiplayer lobby. And of course, if you're playing in a less competitive multiplayer lobby, then you can be happy in the fact that most of the players you'll be playing against on average will be a little bit weaker too. So you playing a strong build will already set you really, really far ahead. Um, so of course that is fantastic. Also, let's just remember to keep building the city districts. I keep forgetting, but it is really annoying because you got to keep redoing the jobs. But it'll pay dividends once we modularity ascend. As you can see, we're already up to 13 pop assembly at year 10. That is not a number you could have easily reached in previous versions of Stellaris, even if you got into the mid and late game, which is, well, that's modern Stellaris for you, I guess. Super, super ridiculous. Also, I forgot to do this earlier, but I forgot to check my. Oh my gosh, I yapped through it. Well, let's go ahead, and this is why I don't record in. This is why I don't record games in. Ooh, I got a little lag spike there. Um, Iron Man mode, because I will mess up. What we forgot to do is we got an election, and what you want to do in an election is you want to make sure any single leader except your starting leader. Mine is called Nyaz. I always give my leader a unique name so I recognize them very quickly if I'm playing multiplayer, right? And basically, you want anyone but your main leader to win the election. And the simple reason you want to do that is this will allow you to reform your government right away instead of waiting for year 20. We don't want to reform our government right away, but we want to reform it at like year 15, which is, of course, not possible unless you elect a new leader. So make sure you do that. I often forget, as I just did. It's honestly pretty hard to remember while you're talking away sometimes and focusing on other aspects of the game. So apologize for me safe scumming that. What can you do? What can you do? In fairness, I do mess this up all the time in multiplayer as well, but I haven't messed it up in a tournament yet, so at least there's that. So if we need extra minerals, we can just spend some energy to get it. Energy is, in fact, the only resource we're actually producing on our capital. It just looks so ridiculous having a planet set up like this. If our faction approval didn't matter so much for our unity output, I would also start resettling pops and turn on pop resettlement, but we don't have pop resettlement enabled in our empire for our faction approval right now. So instead, we're just going to let everything finish up normally, and yeah, that should be pretty good. I think the last thing I'm going to do, right, is going to colonize this, and then we're going to move in this direction and take this planet and kind of get ready to colonize this, as this will be a very, very important mineral planet for after we're done our ascension, and we need to start building up as fast as possible. And wow, we are losing energy credits fast. Let's see, what can we do to reduce that? Let's buy less energy. Want to maintain the amount of minerals we're buying. Oh yeah, we just got so many like random jobs popping up here and there. So let's make sure all of those are deprioritized. We don't need enforcers anymore, as our amenities are so high. Our pops will be happy anyway. And yeah, let's turn our metallurgists down a little bit too. This is another problem with colonizing new planets, is the upkeep on those metallurgists is really high on these very poor habitability worlds. Or not these metallurgists, these lubrication terminals. -5 alloys for just a few pops per month. 5 is not a crazy good deal. But it will help us post-ascension, having a little bit of a kickstart on the number of pops we have, so I guess it's not a bad idea. And our empire size does stay below 100 as well. As long as you don't go above 100 and start wasting unity for no reason, I guess it's fine. And in case you don't know what I'm talking about, if you take a look at this, empire size effects, currently there are nothing, but when you go over a 100, you'll start to see a percentage slowdown in your tech and unity numbers, and your tradition cost, basically. That scales up with your empire size. So yeah, empire size is a bad stat. You actually want it to be low, in case that wasn't clear. I think most good Stellaris players know that, but just in case, right? That's a quick little bit of tidbit of knowledge for you. This unlocks fortresses. I'm not sure if I want to do that. This unlocks future trading buildings. I guess it's better, even though it's a little bit more expensive of a tech. Another thing to know about Stellaris is you don't actually have to worry about picking your techs quickly, as your tech actually is not wasted if you don't select anything. It actually builds up in the background into a buffer, and that buffer is infinitely sized and is cashed in at twice the rate of your actual tech, which means if you have a tech selected more than 50% of the time, you're basically good. You're not wasting any tech. It's not being voided into Narnia or something. It just might be a little bit less efficient, basically, or not less efficient. It's actually just perfectly fine. Like, anyhow, we'll make it our main priority here, as we just want the situation to go as fast as possible. Nothing to really look into there. And also, yeah, make sure you prioritize civilians on every planet, as they increase amenities quite a bit, which is relatively important when you have negative 775 amenities on just 300 pops, which is funny. As you can take a look, they still produce a decent amount of trade, even despite the fact they're not very stable or happy or on a very habitable planet. I think it's 50%. And this can be improved as we clear some of these blockers. But once again, I want to look for I don't know, once again, actually, I haven't done it yet. I want to look for a blocker clearing leader, but it doesn't look like we're lucky enough to have one, so we can just start clearing the blockers on full cost. It does feel a little bit bad, but not a huge deal at the end of the day. Yeah, I guess at this part of the game, we're just kind of moving slowly at this point. Not too important to rush anything too quickly. How long is the scan taking? Oh, I forgot they won the election, so they got cancelled. So we got to reapply a good leader to that. And I do want to take this planet just in case some other empire flies in and takes it when I'm not paying attention. And then we take this planet here, and that's basically about as wide as we need to go. I would say any build that needs to go wider than 10 planets is a bit unreasonable, or at least less fun. I personally don't enjoy builds that need to go that wide. Very much, which is why, for example, I never played that good old arc furnace driven assimilator much in multiplayer. I played it a few times, simply because it benefits so much from being like 10 or 15 planets wide. And I don't like managing more than like 5 or 6 planets usually. That's also a problem with bioempires in general. In the past, right, is that they required the more planets you have, the higher your pop growth, basically. I think the base pop growth in the previous game was like 3. So every planet yet got added at least a minimum of 3 pop assembly. And without having enough planets, your pop assembly would just be so slow. It would take a long, long time, like 2350 to scale up and unlock mega engineering and get thousands of tech, unless you're playing a super mini-max build, right? Which is just not that fun, in my opinion. When stronger stuff existed, like hives getting 10 pop assembly out the gate, or anything with modularity ascension having 20 pop assembly on every planet after like year 30 or something like that. Synth fertility is like year 20 where you get 20 pop assembly on every planet. By the way, new synth fertility guide, I do plan on making one. Synth fertility does feel quite different. I feel like the tech power and unity power is much higher than it used to be, but the ability to quickly make alloys is not as easy as it used to be, and I was never even good at making alloys in the first place. So I do want to be careful in that department and try to make sure I'm presenting the best build I can actually find when I do make that build guide. So yeah, still a little bit of a wait for that, as well, I simply need to think a little bit more about what exactly I need to do for the fertility guide. Anyhow, for this video, how are we doing so far? We have 460 unity, and our situation is half done. Now, very soon we get the virtual power plant. In case you don't know what the virtual power plant is it's not actually you're not going virtual by having a virtual power plant, but it's just a planetary feature that appears on your homeworld that gives like 31 energy and like 0.6 I think dark matter, which is obviously just an amazing technology to have, as uh, yeah, getting access to dark matter without needing the research is very, very important. Oh, this is a Federation builder. It's a pacifist, xenophile, egalitarian. They are going to love us. We will be able to form a trade fed with them um, at some point, I think, being right next to them and them having very similar ethics in egalitarianism. I guess they're not materialist, but I don't think being pacifist or xenophile conflicts with any of the things I have. So that's nice. It's not like an authoritarian militarist right next to you, and all they want to do is vassalize you immediately or something, or just claim you straight up. But at least it's somewhat rare for AI empires to just straight up claymore you and eliminate you from the game, which is okay touch, I guess, as that wouldn't be very fun. So we can ascend our home planet now, as we have 3 tradition trees, and I forgot to do that earlier, and we totally can, as it gives a sizable boost per ascension level, right? And for these two kind of segments here, we don't need to do much. Yeah, just let them be for now, and everything is fine and dandy. Also, let's go ahead and take a look at what pre-FTL we got. We're not going to colonize them. We're just going to take a look. 1.2k. We could invade them, but we really don't need to. As I kind of want to show how you'd play in a normal situation where, of course, would not have an FTL. That's just something that's a nice bonus that you could take advantage of if you knew what you're doing. I've played this build few enough times, so I definitely don't know whether it's even worth it or not to increase your empire size like that. I guess we're already at 100 now. So there goes being below 100 empire size. But yeah, anyhow, I guess our pop assembly is really fast. Even if, yeah, 15 already, and basically all we've done is build city districts, right? Like, that is so funny. All we've done is build city districts and make sure nobody's a civilian. Because we have, or make sure everyone is a civilian. I mean, my apologies. I almost shit talked the most important job that we have. How funny is it, by the way, that being a civilian is now like the best job in Stellaris? I guess from a thematic perspective, I think it's very bad. As I personally enjoyed the game more when you actually produce the resources you wanted, right? Like, oh, I need more minerals. Let's build mineral districts. That makes sense. Um, but hey, I guess broken stuff is broken, right? Like, what can you do? You got to use it. Like, and if you really don't like to run stuff like an all civilian economy, I completely understand. This does feel lame, like getting 400 trade from existing. It's like, okay, why? You know, like, and in addition, almost 200 tech and 500 unity. Of course, factions are a big part of that. Factions are making 300 unity at year 14. Um, yeah, the tradition trees are really, really fast now. So anything that doesn't ascend, like, well before year 20, also make sure you click modularity. This mistake has been made many times, even in finals such as the infamous nanobots and virtual when you're not allowed to. Both have been done, which is pretty funny. Um, nanobots more so because it doesn't break any rules and force anyone to do anything that they wouldn't otherwise have done. Um, it only affects yourself, right? So that's kind of nice. Where virtual, it's like how do you officiate that? I have no idea. I don't officiate tournaments, so I don't have to think about that, thankfully. Also, we're not going to sell our dark matter, as we do want our dark matter for later on. And a new city district. Every time our consumer goods go down, it's because a new city district built, and we're just going to go here, 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 and here. And yeah, I guess the easy way to do this also would be to just change this archives district out for. I think I want a civilian industry, so let's do that. And then on one of these ring worlds, we can turn this into a alloy world and one of these into a generator world. I don't know which one will be which yet. We'll decide at some point. Maybe this one will be a generator world. And yeah, let's also just take a look at our techs. Our tech rolls haven't been too great. We haven't found colonial yet. It's a bit of a stretch to be able to find colonial, but we also haven't found machine templates yet, which kind of does suck a little bit. It does mean we're going to have to reform out of this very soon. I think we can actually do it now. So let's expand the council. Let's bury the past. And let's go with terminal overseers. Sure, that works. Do we have any good scientists to hire? Nope, let's just hire a random one. And go into favorite society. And now let's pause because this is going to be a bit complicated. We're just going to take off parliamentary and add civil education in, right? This will cost us 1,000 or something unity. Perfect. And then we are going to add a head of education in. Let's put our worst leader on that for now. Let's hire a head of research, put our better leader in for that, and a terminal overseer. We can leave a governor or an official in that slot. And if we want to minimax, we can add another official and have no Minister of Defense. This is kind of the single player way to play. Leave the Minister of Defense in if you want to militarize earlier. We don't. So let's go ahead and do that. And what we're going to do now is we're going to build a state academy. Let's queue that to the top. And let's go ahead and turn our trade policy into consumer benefits. And this will crash our Unity quite a bit, but it'll boost our tech a lot as soon as the state academy finishes. And our consumer goods should just go through the roof. Yeah, and we can stop buying them now as well. As we have tons of consumer goods now. And let's just put some, well, not civilian industries, state academies to the top of our build queue, as we need some tech now. We have enough Unity to get most of the way through our tradition trees, right? And we get nano replicators. Let's just take it, I guess. At least the important parts of the modularity tree. So let's go ahead and do that. And we need machine templates to take advantage of modularity at all, right? The whole point is modifying your pops. So what is the point of modularity without machine templates? And we get colonial centralization on our next roll. Beautiful. Once again, it might seem that good players just get luckier consistently, but in reality, it really is just keeping the tech tree branched out to a minimum, and you will roll it much, much faster. I used to struggle to roll it before year 40. Now I consistently roll it, even with terrible tech, like before year 20. And with good tech, I've gotten as early as like year 10, right? So, oh, and if we play the really broken stuff, then earlier than that. But like before civil education, was whenever you get like 1,000 tech at year 10, and you could have colonial centralization at like year 7 or earlier. So that was fun, but even still, civil education is still really, really strong, as you will see very, very soon. Let's see, as our first state academy finishes, I'd expect our tech to borderline double. Right, 324, nice. We get modularity. This liquid metal joints will increase our pop assembly. And then let's go down the left tree and advanced tools. Of course, we're lacking some unity for this. And look, we're still making 5,000 unity, even with econ focus, which is just insane, right? And also for educators, you probably want like 150 of them to reduce crime, and basically nothing else. You really, really don't need more educators, as they do produce a good amount of unity, but otherwise they're just high upkeep for no reason. So let's go ahead and do that. Get a statistician for that, and yeah, I guess we're really fishing for tech rolls now. We can also change out our what's it called, anti-resettlement policy, as we'll start to need to resettle some pops for the sake of gameplay very, very soon. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's also just take a look at this world now. 22.91 pop assembly with no edited traits, just from city districts and modularity. I think that's pretty fucking awesome. And yeah, we're still lacking tech, of course, so let's go ahead and prioritize that a little bit too, and just resettle a good chunk of these civilians over. And what that will let us do is we need more jobs here. We need more artisans, so let's allow the civilians to move up to the artisans. How do we do this? Prioritize that and prioritize this, but then it drains the lubrication terminals, so let's go ahead and do that and just leave civilians unclicked. I think that's the way to do it. And yeah, there we go. Now we have, but we're just sustaining our consumer goods. We do need more. And let's also colonize this as soon as we can, as we're going to need this planet rolling as soon as our tech gets up there, as our tech is very expensive to maintain. It does cost a lot of consumer goods. For 500 tech, we're paying 190 consumer goods. But some of it is sustained by the civilians themselves, which is pretty funny. The civilians making 500. Trade is also giving us back like 100 consumer goods. So it's like, there's some upkeep, but not an incredible amount. And we also do have some spare trade here, so I guess we can spend that on consumer goods. There's no reason not to. And yeah, I guess we're really just waiting on machine templates now for creating a template to modify our original species and make a really efficient modularity species. Yeah, 2017 no machine templates is a little bit unlucky considering we are materialists, so it's pretty likely to roll. But we should get it sooner rather than later, I think. Maybe this roll or the next one. If not, we can even dip discovery to add an extra tech roll to make it a little bit easier, but hopefully we don't have to do that. Please. Ooh, we dodge it again. We get ion thruster though, which is good for clearing blockers on our homeworld. And in addition, I think, yeah, once colonial centralization is done, I think it'll be very worth it to build the capital building, as it'll give us 100 extra lubrication terminal jobs, which, as you can imagine, is really, really important. And we get form federation as well. This way we can get unity and consumer goods. We do get 20% less consumer goods, but it still could be very strong. We're already at negative 18 acceptance only, which is very high, like, right? And we don't even have a envoy improving relations or anything like that. Let's go ahead and do that now. And we do get a research option from here, so that should help us as well. And yeah, as you can see, we're just building up quite nicely here. 600 attack, 500 unity, year 18. In previous Stellaris patches, I would say would be absolutely incredible. But nowadays, this is very average. This is normal. It's probably below average. But, right, we have 24 pop assembly before editing our pops. So imagine how fast it's going to get after. It's going to be fun. It's definitely going to be really, really insane. Anyhow, yeah, this is starting to go pretty slow. So I'm going to cut until I find machine templates, however long that takes. Hey guys, new moment here. I completely forgot. We can actually unlock it guaranteed via an agenda. Yeah, synthetic age. That will give us machine template systems. I forgot that. I wasted like 2 or 3 years. I'm sorry. So yeah, if you guys remember, you can go ahead and do that agenda right away and get the research guaranteed as an option. But hey, we forgot. What can you do? Why do they not want to be a trade league? Oh, minus 52. That's like borderline impossible. I'm not sure that will ever happen. Oh well. At least we got our commercial pact. That's probably better for them than it is for us. But I mean, the AIs love producing more trade than necessary, so we're probably getting something from it. Anyhow, as you can see, our basic economy is doing good. Our commercial economy is doing good. Our pop assembly is amazing. And what this is basically is from our planetary capital upgrade. Gives us an extra few lubrication terminal jobs, which is obviously amazing. So, yeah, anyhow, we also got moats. And getting moats means, of course, it is time for a chemical plant. And a chemical plant will help us on our capital produce extra moats so we can start upgrading these centers of guidance and really scaling up our tech, which is already quite good at 830. We also colonized this extra planet here. This will be our dedicated mining planet, and I'll probably play on these 4 planets to kind of show you guys what a minimum set of planets looks like. And wow, I can't believe it, but we managed to dodge machine templates again. I guess we will be just getting it through the agenda. Okay, that's fine, I guess. In addition, yeah, as you can see, with 800 tech, our tech is kind of flying through now. No needs to worry about anything there. And let's start to specialize these planets too. So this planet I said would be an energy planet, so we'll add a generator support. We don't have the generator tech yet, I think. I think we're researching it now, I believe. Or did we just finish? I think we just finished then. Nope, we still don't have it. I guess I skipped it because it was the +1 research option, I think. And then on this planet, I believe I decided I'm going to make this the alloy planet. And also, we just want to make sure we clear any blockers that reduce Habitability, so faulty dimensional regulator. That's probably from what are we missing? Unaligned ring gyros. This is from Starbase, and the other one is from Global Energy Management, which is somehow the one we don't have. That's usually the easiest one to roll. Um, so on this new planet, this will be our mineral planet, one of our most important planets. Let's just buy some minerals to build an automation building. Nope, nope, nope. Machine assembly building. I hate how they look alike. Lubrication basin, and then mineral, and then mineral support. Probably something like that. Take advantage of support zones, guys. They are really, really strong for boosting the efficiency of the particular job you want on that planet. And without them, it is really hard to keep your basic economy scaled up to match the other parts of your economy. So I do recommend that. And anyhow, let's continue. As you can see, our trade is really, really going crazy now. Just because like the pop assembly is so fast. Like even though we're barely paying attention to it, it's still just flying by, right? Like, and also we have I did this off camera, but I took Cosmogenesis. You don't need to be Cosmogenesis to play this build. I just like Cosmogenesis, so there we go. We can now take basically anything. We're gonna go Discovery to help give us effective tech speed through having an extra tech option. And of course, we roll machine template, having already started the agenda. But that's good, because if we finish this in time, this agenda will turn into one that gives us binary motivators, which will allow us to produce even more efficient pops. And our first official type leader, hit level 4, will turn into an industrialist. And then everything else will turn into an advisor to increase our trade. But yeah, as you can see, now that we have moats, we can build up these centers of guidance. And they will eat our consumer goods in exchange for more tech, which is a exchange I'm definitely willing to do. So let's go ahead and start building that up. On these planets, let's start to just clear out these blockers we don't need, and we should have checked for a blocker cleaning leader, as we actually do have one. So let's go ahead and hire them. And let me show you how much better it is to clear a blocker with the blocker cleaning leader. Is like literally these prices, they're halved. And if we go here, let's go ahead and plop them here, and we can clear all 4 of these blockers for the same amount of resources. Very, very nice. We don't really need anything here, so let's just take Dyson Swarm, as it can be annoying to find that again. And as you can see, our basic economy is completely cooked, so we just have to buy it with our very, very high trade now. And finally, we get machine templates, and let's go ahead and use our Unity and skip through synthetic gauge. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yep, it helped us progress through the binary motivators. And this is an amazing tech that gives us +3 modification points. And I'm actually just going to wait until that's done before modifying my pops, just so I only have to do it once and not overcomplicate things for the camera. So let's go ahead and wait on that, and also just make sure that we're building up our actual planets as much as we can. Yeah, I believe this is still queued up, so that's all fine and dandy. And oh yeah, we don't have gases tech yet, so I'll show you guys something really degenerate and risky you guys can do if you want to go negative on exotic gases early on. And I think it's worth it, but it's not recommended if you aren't comfortable with managing the situation. But I think it's worth it, so I'll show you guys what that is when that happens. Although it is pretty scary, so maybe not recommended. Anyhow, let's see how our consumer goods are after this center of guidance. I believe we could probably support like 1 more. It would be a little sus, but I think we can. Ooh, maybe not. Maybe not. I guess you just click this and problem solved. Would you look at that? Now we have too many consumer goods. Oh, now we have no minerals. Okay, go back to being civilians. Okay. Hold on. We'll need to wait a bit before doing that, I think. Yeah. Also, capacity subsidies, mining subsidies on. We absolutely do not need extra Unity, even if we go over our edict cap, which we're currently not. But in case we do, just go over it. It's not a big deal. And this can be a mineral planet. This can be a... what am I looking for here? Energy planet. What is there? No energy planet? Oh wow. There's a mineral world. Why is there no energy world? What? Okay. That's confusing. Oh, is this an oversight or is there just no energy planet option? Well, there's like 16 energy districts, so who cares if we don't get that niche efficiency boost? And this can be a Forge world. There we go. Yeah, and as you can see, the techs are rolling by now, which is really, really nice. So, yeah, we dodge exotic gas tech, which does kind of suck, but let's just check in case that one bonus tech was exotic gas tech. No, it wasn't. So let's go ahead and just pick some random stuff. And now let's finally get into our robot creation screen. And this is where the magic happens. So, as I mentioned before, we want a pop with all assembly traits. So let's go ahead and create a template. We want to remove. Let's start by removing all the non-assembly traits and first adding all the assembly traits on. And let's take a look at what we got. So we got dark matter engines actually isn't an assembly trait, but we'll just put it on anyway. Biometric assembly. So there's our three big assembly traits. And the next thing we want to do is we want to put on adaptive frames. The reason why we want adaptive frames is a trait that the game really wants to assemble. It believes adaptive frames is really important, so it'll try to assemble any pop which has adaptive frames. So we can put it on our pop and help get assembly frames in by doing that. And let's also just pick something meaningless like bulky, so we can add some helpful trait. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but you want to use every trait point, as it'll increase the assembly score, which determines which pop gets assembled. So let's call this the assemble pop, right? And let's save this template. And also, you notice I changed it to dry planet preference because this will have 100% habitability on every ring world because it's a ring world, and it'll have 100% habitability on a dry world because it's a dry world, right? And then let's create a new template from this template, and let's remove all the assembly traits. Where's biometric assembly? And then go to our negative traits and add all negative assembly traits. Custom made, luxurious, and something else. What do we want? High bandwidth to give us more trait picks, right? And then we put all positive traits. Shielded components, beautiful. Dark matter engines we already have. Durable is great for reduced upkeep. Matrix trading to increase our trading efficiency as we're doing so much trade. I guess we can remove custom made here so we can get one more trade pick. What should we go? Moat tools is probably great. Do we have moats? Yeah, we do have moats. Ver crystal exterior is also great. But since I'm mini maxing for Unity and Tech, let's go ahead and do this. And yeah, there we go. Oh, we need to take off adaptive frames. Modify template. I forgot. Let's take off adaptive frames. Oh, now we have tons of trait picks. So let's go ahead and remove moat power tools. And let's just add something generally really good. We don't really need inquisitive axioms because we don't have researchers. Shielded components, living metal. Do we have the gas trait? Yeah, we have the gas trait. That's important. I guess we could put moat tools and rare crystal trait on. Normally I wouldn't do this, but if you're really lazy like me, you can do something like that. I'm personally probably going to take the crystal trait off and just put something generally good like efficient processes, and that will use up all our trait points as well. So the OCD in me. Oh, let's not name this assemble. Let's name this main. Just to be clear, how do I delete this template? Is there a delete template button anywhere? Oh man. Okay, that's going to be a little bit confusing. Okay, so now what we want to do is this assemble template should automatically start assembling, and the main template we want to set as default, and whatever species you actually have population of, set the species rights and set them to integrate into default subspecies, which means these pops will gradually over time turn into main. And then if I start time and look at my homeworld, we should, if I did everything right, see that the estimated assembly is 51 of the quote unquote assemble pops. So very nice. I think we've done everything correctly there. So we're starting to assemble um, pops at 50 per month on our capital. Very, very nice. And we should be getting the pop efficiency of some of the most ridiculously traded pops in the game very soon. As you can see, we already have 200 main, and then we run out of gases because we don't have the exotic gas tech yet. So, what are we gonna do about this? Well, the answer is actually don't worry at all. Um, and yes, that sounds really weird. Why are we not worried about being negative on a resource we cannot produce? And the reason is, simply speaking, there's an event that gives you rare crystals at some point, or exotic gases, or whatever you're running out of, and you can use that event to get the crystals until you research the tech, right? Because we're still researching at a ridiculous speed, 1500 tech now and going strong. So as long as you keep researching, you will be okay. And we definitely need to work more consumer goods jobs. Let's deprioritize metallurgists for a bit and prioritize artisans. Um, let's not produce too many because we don't quite have the minerals to sustain it yet. But we will at some point get through this very precarious situation. But don't worry about it too much. It's a bit sketchy now, but don't worry, it will get really, really good in a blink of an eye. Yeah, I think we want to completely deprioritize metallurgists here now. And why does the game love educators so much? Ah, that's where all the jobs are going. I really hate how the number you select doesn't stay like that as you um, assemble more problems. We get gas extraction wells. That means we have a gas deposit somewhere. Is it here? Deep sinkhole, crystal caverns. Nope, it's not on this planet. It's in space. Why do we have a gas research tech? I don't know. But yeah, this situation is getting really bad, right? And we will very quickly see how you actually deal with this. So once this gets to, I believe at the end of this stage, you get an event that will just give us the resource we need. We just have to, select it. So that should be fine and dandy. As you can see, the assembly on these colonies is not nearly as good, but it should be fine. 53 assembly on our main planet, and here we go. Yeah, we just need to reclaim gas from Nyaz Prime. I'm sorry, Nyaz Prime, you get some destruction. It's fine. You'll recover. Mechanical pop assembly speed plus 10%. Yes, sir. And yeah, let's also continue to build city districts to scale up our pop assembly. I think each city district should give something like 5 pop assembly at this point, which is obviously really, really strong. And yeah, we are scaling up nicely there. How's our minerals? Well, we need to buy minerals to make minerals. Go figure. And how's our generator world? Our generator world should be doing fine as soon as, these buildings are done. Very nice. Oh, we get our extra Civic slot now. And that'll help us maintain our economy a lot with merchant guilds, so that is really nice as well. Polytechnic education. Sure. Another way you can get consumer goods, by the way, is you can make a trade planet. Not sure why I haven't done that, to be honest. I guess the reason I don't really like trade is it doesn't make energy credits anymore. And I don't find trade to be as useful as it really converts at a bad ratio into other resources, especially before you have the Galcom. And even after you have the Galcom, you tend to buy resources in an amount that completely collapses the market because the AIs don't trade enough to offset it. So there's that, which kind of sucks. But yeah, this also needs to be developed into a forward world as soon as possible because this world is not very developed. This world is not very developed, but yeah, we'll build them all up. It'll take some time before everything gets as good as I want it to be. Yeah, how is this planet doing, by the way? Not producing very many minerals yet, 46. but this will get drastically more efficient once we get a mineral support zone and a couple more districts down, so we really don't have a lot of those. And we still don't have a way to produce gases, which does suck. Um, and let's deprioritize civilians now and just have them prioritize lubrication terminals. And we don't need soldiers, so let's get rid of soldiers. Yeah, there needs to be is there a way to deprioritize? I don't even know. Because there's a lot of jobs on like planets where they just keep going around and I don't know how to prioritize them properly. Like, yeah, I think we'll do that now. That'll give us a lot of consumer goods. Consumer goods, yeah, plus 113. That's more than enough. And now we're negative on minerals, of course, because we're working so many of those jobs, which is, I guess we should have allowed them to actually be technicians because we forgot to do that. Scum and villainies on Nyaz. Oops. I guess we weren't working enough. Educators. I'm sorry, educators. Back to 0% crime. Okay, whatever. Whatever. What do we want now? I think we want merchant guilds, right? Yeah, merchant guilds. That's a mining guilds. Merchant guilds. And that will enable us to have a director of trade. For now, they can be not an advisor, but later on, we can make that into an advisor, which is really nice. And head of research and a head of education. There we go. And this will also allow us to go to mercantile, giving us some extra trade. And yeah, as you can see, our economy is decently better now. I should have checked how much trade our civilians were making to see if merchant guilds actually affect civilians, because I did forget to check that. But whether or not does or doesn't, right, we have a fine economy now, as we are fixing this as fast as we can. Let's go ahead and build a mineral support. And yeah, as you can see, our tech is really moving now. We get rare crystal plants, but still no gases. That's scary. I've never ran out of gases twice. That's not good. Running out of gases twice is definitely not good. I'm not sure we can extract from another planet more gases. And if that happens, well, I'm not too sure what happens. Why do we get... I'm still confused as to why I got the gas extraction tech if I don't have a gas deposit anywhere. That is really confusing to me. Normally you need a gas deposit to get that tech. But not this time, apparently. Maybe it's in space somewhere. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Gas refineries. 5 months. We have more than 5 months of gas left for sure. So, turns out we're safe. But, boy, is that a little bit nerve-wracking, right? Going negative before going positive again. Oof, not the most enjoyable, I guess. Why do we have no minerals? Let's get some more minerals. Get some more minerals. Upgrade this. Yeah, just keep all the upgrades rolling whenever we can. As you can see, we have a lot of civilians sitting around everywhere waiting to have jobs created for them. So, yeah, this is where the build gets really good, I guess. As you can see, we're only at 1k tech. I'm sure you can play this build much better than I have been playing it. I'm a bit of a robot noob, a self-admitted robot noob, right? So, all the good players I've seen can have much higher tech values than this, but those good players unfortunately don't make videos, so unlucky. Until they start doing, we will have to guess how they get so big so quickly. I guess I could join a game with them and just talk through it, and I'm sure they'd be nice enough to explain exactly what they're doing. But alas, here we are. I mean, like the build is good enough so that I would say you will never get outscaled by like a quote unquote random or players who play more casually, right? This build is already very strong compared to that. And wow, we need some food. Okay, let's just buy it for now, and then build some agriculture districts on one of our rings. Maybe this one. Why can't we build a district? Oh, we lack minerals. Duh. Duh. We need to sell some boats. Get some more minerals. Right? And the reason we need food is simply because biometric assembly does eat a lot of food, so um, we do need some food to sustain biometric assembly. Exotic gas shortages. Oh, we're running out again, but I think we were building it. Yep, so that will be solved very soon. Um, nice, nice, nice. Let's take a look at our capital, 53 pop assembly. I'm very curious also, how much does a single city district actually increase that? Let's find out. We get to find out now. Almost 2,000 tech as well at year 27. Nice. Why does this feel balanced now? Why does 2K tech at year 29 or something like feel like it's not that strong of a build? That's the crazy part of Stellaris meta right now. Um, yeah, like really wild how that feels. It's like, why does this build feel balanced almost? It's not balanced. We'll see very, very soon, but it kind of feels that way. It really does. Yeah, as long as every planet is building, right, you're not losing out on anything, as building speed will very quickly become the limiting factor, as pops kind of aren't. 53 pop assembly now. Right, and let's also take a look at how many of the main species we have. Why is assemble not... Oh. I forgot to set them to integrate or assimilate. Well, now they're going to do that, and our economy will dip a little bit as they... Whoa, 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 whoa. We still don't have enough gases, but we can buy them now, so there we go. Buy 3 exotic gases per month until we scale up this world. We won't have enough, but yeah, there we go. Yeah, and as you can see, there is still quite a bit of stuff to manage when playing a build like this. But yeah, let me, like, now that we've kind of got rolling, our economy is stabilizing very quickly. Let me just build up these planets a little bit more to kind of show you guys that everything is indeed under control. We have tons of food now. Our minerals are not great, but we're going to be adding mineral districts, right? And we have tons of pops ready to go to be added to these mineral districts. So the economy is really good. The tech is really good. So I think I'm going to play a bit on camera and just like grow and show you guys where we end up very, very soon. Hey guys, quick little tip with lubrication tanks I just wanted to point out is take a look at this planet here. This planet is our energy world, and it is making 28 pops per month. And this planet is making 37, despite having the same amount of lubrication terminals. And the simple reason for that is this planet happens to have a heavy industry, and this one doesn't. So industrial zones do affect the output of lubrication tanks. I really wish the tooltips were actually shown in game instead of you having to find people who know how to dig code to tell you how that works, because that is really difficult to figure out for an average player, I would say. So yeah, Stellaris, I know you're not listening, but if you were, try to make that stuff more clear, as it would help a lot of players a lot, myself included, as I could not figure out why I could not match the numbers I saw some of the good players getting until I talked to them, and well, they told me, because that's the really nice thing about the Stellaris community, right, is a lot of the players, not all of them, but almost all of them, are very willing to share what they discover and help the community improve and improve the quality of the games and the players. So yeah, never feel afraid to ask questions and to join the discords, and like, yeah. Anyways, also just take a look at how fast the economy is improving besides minerals. We are really, really quickly, you know, like starting to boom in a lot of senses, except for consumer goods apparently as well. I guess we need to stop prioritizing civilians so they actually fill the artisan jobs. But yeah, we're getting how much assembly in our capital now? Almost 60, and I'm starting to tear down the other districts for more city districts in order to further increase the efficiency of this planet. We can continue to ascend it as well, right? Still 59 pop assembly, unfortunately. I'm still myself trying to figure out everything that boosts the assembly speed. There's a lot of things that go into it, and yeah, I'm just happy to see that build is working. Yeah, we're already getting a really, really, really fun. Like this assembly speed is already fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is on just one planet plus the 4 rings, right? And it could be even better if you wanted to go wider, but it's really difficult to manage wider. So, um, start off narrower and I guess play wider when you get better at the build. Oh, we're out of buildings, right? So look at the price of minerals, by the way. And I haven't even bothered to explore the galaxy at all, so it's like all dark. Let's go ahead and look for the rest of the galaxy now, because of course our neighbors love us, but nobody else has even met us. So also, why do they not prefer Trade League as much as Galactic Union? I don't understand this. They're a xenophile, don't they love trade? Like I don't understand the AI logic. Oh well. But I guess the next thing we need to do is scale up our alloys, right? As our alloys right now are not very good. So yeah, let's focus on building some city districts on our alloy world here. And yeah, the pop assembly is more than keeping up. Is the reason my pop assembly on my capital is not very good because I don't have a heavy industry? Does mixed industry not count? Let's find out. Let's make sure we have enough consumer goods to survive this first of all, and then let's convert this to a heavy industry and see what happens. This will probably be really bad for our economy. Wait. Let's convert this one to a heavy industry, because then I'll lose less civilian jobs. Hypercoms forum, there we go. We can just research kind of whatever we want now. Research is so fast. I do want to rush mega engineering though and see what year we can get that, so I will focus on techs that go towards mega engineering when I see them. And rat. Just make sure to keep all your buildings going. If you don't want to go merchant guilds, I'm not going a trade build, so I realize I shouldn't even have gone merchant guilds. I should have actually gone for architectural interest, to maximize the efficiency of building new buildings, as that would probably be more efficient than what I'm doing here, which is not running actually merchant jobs. So I'm not getting any value from merchant guilds because I realized I didn't want to do a trade planet, but that's what most people do with this build. They're probably right to run merchant jobs, but I don't need the extra unity. If I want more unity, I can just upgrade these heritage sites, but it'll eat a lot of my consumer goods, and we're gonna finish the tradition tree very soon into the game anyway. It's what, year 32? And we're making borderline 3k tech. We're still lacking quite a bit, but our civilian count is increasing rapidly, right? 61 a month. And yeah, because this planet already, with this many blockers and stuff, being at 54 makes me think that it needs to be a heavy industry to get the max assembly speed, and not just a mixed industry, which is a distinction which I forgot to test in my test game, so I'm sorry about that. So we're learning here, right? Oh, I forgot to prioritize this, so it's going to take forever. Let's just let the city district finish too, because it's only like 3 days. So I apologize for that, but like once again, the build testing has been, I've been doing a lot for something that's not like my full-time job. I'm just doing it for fun. So yeah, I put a lot of effort into it anyway, so I do apologize for the slight inaccuracies if it does turn out that the pop assembly speed requires a heavy industry. But I think it does, so oops. Yeah, it would be a little, yeah, I think it definitely does. Oh well. Let's go ahead and get it done here, because this planet is ready at what, 57, and this planet is at 62, despite this planet having way more city districts. So yeah, let's see it here. Let's see the damage report. Yeah, 29 days until we find out how wrong I was. I guess I should leave like I'll leave a comment in the description saying like a build correction if this is the case, and it is not apparently. So why is the assembly speed on this planet so comparable to my capital? Because we have the heavy industry now, right? And we still don't have the thing. And what I will say about that is our civilian economy does not like that. So let's turn it back. Turn it back real quick. And here, are we still building something? Just build something on this planet. I don't know what, but just make sure we're building something. And yeah, make sure we're industrializing this planet. Looks like we are, so that's very good. Yeah, alloy efficiency is really, really bad right now. 1.4k for 57 alloys. That's not particularly good. I guess we need to build a metallurgic research lab. Is yeah, job efficiency. And I don't think these buildings work the same way they used to, right? Because they used to give base output, but I don't think they do anymore. Um, I think we need a Ministry of Production. This should help a little bit. Um, and I guess we just have to go to militarized economy at this point. This will once again nuke our consumer goods, but oof, that does hurt. Minus 100 consumer goods from that. But yeah, with 5.1k of them, that's 50 artisans. That's a lot. We should be okay. Yeah, plus 50. There we go. And yeah, I wonder how. Like, I guess you would need more planets if you wanted to sustain even more consumer good jobs, or you need a fully dedicated trade world. Not sure how much energy we'll need in the long run, but I know late game Stellaris, you never regret having more energy once you start building ships, right? So yeah, let's get like some star bases ready. As if we're going to build ships in single player, but I don't build ships in single player until I get like the best battleships or something like that. I don't know why I'm like that, but I guess I just don't like upgrading my ships multiple times throughout a game. I just like to build one ship, and that is the ship. I guess that's probably the opposite of the way most people play, which is that they want to like start fighting at every opportunity they got and that kind of thing. Whoa, where did our consumer goods go? Ministry of Production, that'll help. Where's our recirculation center? Nope, we don't think we have the consumer goods building yet. Yeah, that increases consumer goods efficiency. Why did we suddenly lose so many consumer goods? I don't even know. Minus 191? That's a lot, though. We're still on consumer benefits. We're still getting a lot from trade. All I can say is, that ain't good. We should not have gone to militarized economy. That's my conclusion from that. Why is the upkeep here so terrible? Yeah, I guess that's just the way these buildings are, right? Alright, well, there's only one solution I know for that, and that is more jobs. So let's do that. Wow, it is really, really tough, though. What? We are losing a lot of consumer goods. Jeez. Yeah, this is the... Oh, so this applies automatically now when the tech is done. Oh, that's really powerful. Nice. That'll help a lot, having a +1 base output when we have this many of them. That's like plus 60. That's more than plus 60 consumer goods right away, and we have a lot of percent modifiers as well. Yeah, we need some more artisans. I wonder if we can just turn off Utopian Abundance now as well. I don't think we need it anymore. So let's go ahead and turn that off. Set species rights. Whoa, where's our mates? Why is the number of these increasing? Okay. Let's just apply this template. How big of a tech is this? 46 months? Whatever. I really, really hate that they're not assimilating quick enough. Huh. Wait. Instead of doing that, can I set species rights? Yeah, it can't be the Empire's dominant species. Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, can I just assimilate them? Like, I don't care what happens to my economy for that time. Like, okay. Um, yeah, definitely not going infinite the way good players do with this build, but hey, um, that's a-okay. When I learn how to, I'll make a new video on that. But yeah, let's take Forge Focus here. Advisor there. Yeah, just the consumer goods, man. They're expensive. I guess we'll just buy like 135 of them. Screw. We have tons of trade, right? So we can indeed still do that. Let's make sure all our planets stay building something. Our alloys are really, really tough to scale up, to be honest. I don't know why it's so slow, to be honest. I guess we're using a lot to assemble a crazy amount of pops, but at least the tech is good. So there you go. Crisis level 2, very nice. Ooh, should have waited for um, that to finish. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna go on until I hit mega engineering and that kind of thing. So we'll be right back. Alright guys, I just wanted to show you the situation finally completed. So all my pops are finally the nice efficient species. And we're up to 5k tech, 3k unity, and these basic resources are uh, just amazing as well. Makes me happy. Our alloys are a bit lacking, but we're building that up as fast as we can. As you can see, there's a bit of a build queue everywhere. I'm very curious. Let's reform out of merchant guilds if we can. Into not relentless industrialist. Where is it? What am I looking for here? I think I'm looking for functional architecture. Oh, I need to wait 7 years. Okay, 7 years later we shall do that. I'm very curious. I don't think merchant guilds was the right choice for what I'm doing here, but I don't really know. Anyhow, let's just go ahead and continue on. And basically, our plan for scaling tech is you just resettle more and more pops to the capital. Um, the capital is, of course, all city districts, meaning it has um, about as much housing as you could really need. A lot of amenities, right? So pops are happy in your capital, move them over there. Also, when you can, build the capital complexes on every planet, as the capital complexes give you additional assembly. As you can see, what are we up to? 76 assembly here. How much on our capital? 162. Yeah, that's a lot of assembly, guys. And yeah, basically what this 162 assembly is from is, for some reason, the lubrication terminals just get so much more efficient as you upgrade the capital building and clear out everything else. I really don't know how it works because all the numbers are hidden, um, or very annoying to find. Like if I hover over these pops, you can find one of them somewhere that's actually assembling, and then you can get the stats on how fast it's assembling. But very hard to understand. I really hope they clean up the UI. As currently, I do not enjoy it. Um, Trying to figure out what my pops are doing anymore. I just accept what I get as what I get, and hopefully once they clean up the AI, it shouldn't be too hard. And yeah, as you can see, we're also just hard bottlenecked on build speed. We also been neglecting building star bases or anything outside because we've just been enjoying SimCity on our 3 ring segments and scaling up. And yeah, as you can see, the numbers start to get ridiculous at a certain point. And yeah, that's why you also take what's this thing called? That's why I recommend taking Cosmogenesis, because it allows you to exploit having ridiculous amounts of tech and that kind of thing. So yeah, I guess alloys is the one point in this build where it's not very good currently. I wouldn't be exactly sure how to scale alloys quickly for year 30 yet. When I figure that out, I'll make an official build guide. For now, this is more of a showcase of what is possible. And I'll let you guys either play around with this or find out what exactly is the best way to play it. I'm sure a lot of the better players already know. For me, at least, I'm still experimenting. I'm still messing around and seeing what works and what doesn't. The good old adage, throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks, is a pretty good description of what I'm doing with builds these days. Yeah, this one is definitely a fun one. As once it gets rolling, as like it is a little bit hard when you're transitioning, to civilian economy, and your consumer goods upkeep is thousands and that kind of thing. But man, once it gets rolling good. And yeah, we can continue to resettle pops from civilians across our nation into our capital, where they will produce tech. So yeah, despite only having 4 planets, we don't really lack pops in any manner. Let's see how much tech we're getting now. Like, what is this? Like 7, 8,000? This is 8,000 tech. Yeah, 8,000 tech. We have basically infinite minerals now. That was a big problem just a few years ago. We have, you know, the only thing stopping us from producing more alloys is not having had enough production of that in the first place. And we're just looking for mega engineering now. We're not getting great luck with it, so it could take us a while. Whoa, our consumer goods just, it's volatile. It goes up and down and left and right, and I don't really know what's going on with the consumer goods. Um, let's not build the hypercoms farm. That won't help our consumer goods at all. And I don't think we have any more space for consumer goods shops. That's wild. Um, guess let's change districts. Let's turn this into a commercial district. Let's take advantage of our merchant guilds and turn this into a energy and commercial combined world. I guess that sounds pretty fun. Um, we don't have any good commercial buildings yet since we didn't research the Fallen Empire buildings. So I guess what that means is if you want to find the Fallen Empire buildings, all you have to do is, as a tradition, go ahead, take one of these, and we want to go enigmatic engineering, and that will allow us to very quickly find, or much more quickly find, the Fallen Empire buildings, as we're currently not finding them. I think we have battleships already, so we just need star bases. So what we can actually do is we research all the cheap techs, right? They fly by in 1 month, and this will let us recycle the techs until we get mega engineering. Um, and yeah, just pick something cheap. Let it pop right through. This one's 2 months, unfortunately. I guess we're caught lacking. We need more consumer goods, guys. Whoa, consumer goods is really negative. But luckily, I have a solution. Now let's purchase 1,035 consumer goods. Oh, nope, we do not have enough trade for that. We do not have enough trade for that. I repeat, we do not have enough trade. Let's purchase 300 instead. Um, yeah, that's still positive in trade. That's wild. And also, yeah, with converting one of these to a half trade world, I guess. If we had another world, and we do actually, we could just build a trade world over there as well. Um, that would take advantage of our merchant guilds. So let's actually go ahead and do that. We can just use our dry habitability pop, and it's still 95% habitable. It's really funny. So let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, I guess whatever we take here doesn't matter too much. Just pick something. I guess you could take expansion for the truly mini max pop assembly speed, which would be a good laugh for sure. What are we getting now? Plus 149, plus 80 on this planet. Like, where does the difference come from? I guess this one doesn't have as many city districts. Yeah, like, once again, I wish you could just hover over something and see why the pop assembly is the way it is. Ooh, we get mega assembly complexes. That's expensive tech. It's only 3 months. Oh my god. It's only 3 months, guys. Um, so yeah, I guess this honestly also it's not too much slower than psionics, but I guess we don't have the same alloy output as psionics, and we definitely don't have as strong as our early and mid game. Um, but like once you get there, it is very similar, right? Like we could build like a 20k cruiser fleet right now, or battleship fleet even. Like we have spinal mount weapons already, like a tier 2 tachyon lance. Um, we would have horrific uh, non slots. We have to use autocannons, which is just so bad. Don't use autocannons, guys. But right, we're not really trying to mini max that. Ooh, we have no cheap techs here. Afterburners, I guess. 2 months. Um, Maniacal increased research speed a little bit. And yeah, let's upgrade this building on all the planets and see what ridiculous assembly speeds we get to. Um, oh, I'm excited to see how fast the assembly gets when that's done. Let's also prioritize this on every planet because more pops, more better. 502 empire size. This is also the empire size rush. This is amazing. Our empire size is going to be so crazy. I can't wait to see it. This is a long video, by the way, but I'm having fun, so I'm just going to continue. Oh, we capped on alloys, so let's go ahead and build some unbelievably terrible battleships. Do not do this. This is a terrible design. I replaced the autocannons with kinetic batteries, then you got something. But we don't have kinetic batteries yet because we haven't been researching in that direction. Let's call this the Nya cruiser, or Nya battleship. I will say, like, we built the wrong battleship. Shipyard. Where's my shipyard? Oh, they didn't actually build any. Okay, nice. Add ship. Yeah. There we go. Just spend some alloys, right? So we don't have enough alloys. And yeah, now we're starting to get the Fallen Empire buildings too. We don't need to research them yet, to be honest. What's cheap here? That's cheap. Oh, and this is also the point in the game. We're getting repeatables. Nice. Basically, we started researching at year 20, right? And we still are getting repeatables already, which is just hilarious. Singularity, railgun, sure. Where was our commercial nexus? Yeah, here we are. Let's see. Commercial zones, I guess, is what we want to add here. Let's just take a look at how many civilians we got. I have only 1.1k on this planet. Weak numbers, and we're maxed on all the basics now, basically, because we can't quite keep. It's just consumer goods, I guess, that is forever a problem. If you're playing with another empire, they can send you consumer goods via like, you trade fetting them or something. That would probably be amazing for both builds, to be honest, because they would be trade fetting a build that is just passively producing incredible amounts of trade. How much trade are we producing? 13,000, right? Like we're not specifically working trade jobs. They're just from our civilians, basically, right? That's yeah, it's all the specific trade jobs we have. Yeah, that's thousands and thousands of consumer goods. Just amazing. How much consumer goods are we making? Only 3,000, I guess. Yeah, these consumer goods artisans are really inefficient. I gotta say, I'm not impressed. Maybe merchants is the way to go. We'll find out soon, I guess. Oh, this planet is as tall as it's gonna get, so I guess we'll just get some commercial zones for now. We can replace them with Fallen Empire commercial zones at some point, but for now, just regular commercial zones. I guess they work. I always forget which one's the commercial zones button because I rarely click it, to be honest. And the ocean arcology. Yeah, really, really nice. And let's take a look at the pop assembly too. That's a screenshot right there. 200 pop assembly. Oh, I love it. And these are all 10k right now, so I guess we can call the video here. Yeah, incredible build, incredible pop assembly. Hopefully I'll be able to optimize this for a official build showcase soon. But for now, play around with lubrication basins. It's definitely fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.